Hello, and welcome to Our Ventura TV. Today, my guest, or tonight, my guest is Scott. Did I say your last name right? Lykins?
Lykins, yep, you said
Lykins,
it right.
perfect. But you're also known as,
As Spinz.
very good, a musician, a producer, a local guy who's gone good and has traveled all around the world performing. So now I'm going to just turn it over to you, Scott. Tell us a little bit about your story, focusing on that you came from Ventura.
I did. I started off at a young age, 14 years old. And I had an amazing drama teacher named Mr. Enfield at Ventura High School. And Mr. Enfield taught us how to be open on stage. And it was a nice time because we could go out into the big stage and be how we wanted to. And it was an amazing theater. The Ventura High School Theater is an amazing theater. So I kind of ground my teeth in that, and I had my little group of friends. We made hip hop. We made our own clothing. We danced. It was 1991.
Okay,
that was
good.
the year we started. And so later on, we met up with some friends in LA called The Good Life. It was another workshop called The Good Life. They were also rappers. These groups went on. We're still all connected. These groups are The Far Side, Delicious Vinyl.
Whoa.
And so now, for 30 years now, we've been affiliated with that, Delicious Vinyl. And now me as a member of the group Far Side with Fat Lip, with the guys. So I'm just honored to be a part of hip hop and also the history of hip hop in the 805 or Ventura area as well.
Wow, that's crazy. And so, and you've traveled all around the world as yourself and as part of this band? Wow.
Yeah, I don't get to travel around the world as myself because nobody cares, but I get to travel around the world as Spinz, and
Okay.
that's kind of cool.
Got it.
Yeah, and Scott Lykins from Ventura doesn't get so much love in Frankfurt, Germany, as Spinz does, but
but you as your own group is what I'm trying to say, is also that you perform with and you perform as your special thank you.
I do, yeah. And so that's a blessing, is that and the music that I get to write here and make here gets heard around the world. And actually I get to touch down in these places.
Oh.
I get to go to Luxembourg, and Bratislava, Slovakia, and Zagreb, Croatia, and all over Vienna, Austria, a lot of places that are centralized in music from many years, from the times when Mozart was writing on the Danube and these areas. So it's really and playing the Donau Fest. The Donau Fest is right on the Donau in Vienna, Austria, and the biggest free festival in the world. There's over 1 million people there. So it's nice that a local Ventura guy was there, so I can tell people that, yeah, if you make music, you get to go places, definitely.
Wow. Okay, so I want to, although this show will be on the internet in perpetuity, I guess, I am going to say that right now we are at a year's mark of being in a kind of a quarantine, a quarantine time because of a global pandemic. So here we've been talking about the global power of music. And I know for a fact that art doesn't stop. We may not be called the essentials, but we as artists know that art is essential. So maybe you could tell us all a little bit about what you've been doing with your art and and your colleagues, whatever, during the last year.
I've been working. I've been producing a lot in the last year, and there's a lot going on in the world right now. And I feel I'm 44 now, and I've been making my albums for the last 20 years, and so I feel like my voice as Spinz, as an artist, isn't so important at this moment. So more important was the artist I was working with, or am working with at the moment.
Okay.
And so they are either African American or Black artists.
Okay.
And I feel at this moment in time they have a bigger voice than I could ever have. And so I'd rather supply the music. So that's why I've been producing more. I haven't been really rapping a lot, but that's just because, like I said, my message doesn't need to be heard right now. There's other people that need to be heard a lot more. And I have a lot better channel because I am a producer as well as a DJ. I make hip hop. I can rap. I can spin on my head still. And so it's something that's definitely part of my culture. Hip hop is a culture to me. And so especially right now with BLM, with everything going on,
Mhm.
there's a lot more important things than a white rapper from Ventura, and my message, which I've had years and years of only messages in my music. I
Mhm.
always took my music as a way to relate to people, as a way to get the things out that I needed to express that I probably couldn't say, because maybe someone might be offended, or someone might be, you know, doesn't have the same view. And especially in our area, you know, we don't have such a hip hop presence. It's not a hip
Right.
hop oriented,
Nor a
right?
diversity presence. As
Right.
far as, I'm
So,
not saying we don't have diversity, but
right.
a powerful presence of that diversity being, you know, in the entertainment business, in the government business, in the arts, you know, it just
Exactly.
where you see it there, not just as, oh yeah, there's those people around here. I mean, not to be crude, but
Yeah. Yeah. We're a
wow.
small place. So a small place will, diversity is definitely gonna make our area blossom. I mean, I've seen it. You know, I was in Vienna, Austria during the refugee crisis in
Right.
2015, and friends of my band, we were volunteering for the refugees that were going through to Germany, to Sweden, and they were coming from Bosnia, and they were taking the line up. So me and my friends played music for the kids while they were waiting for the train. We made sandwiches. We did a lot of just volunteer work. And I had never really been around that many Muslims before.
Mhm.
But when I realized that everybody around me was Muslim, then I kind of got a sense of, oh, this isn't exactly the idea I had of these people, right?
Right.
And it was a very human element, because they were being chased from their country, and they didn't have anything left. Everything they had on them, and they were very organized. They knew where they were going. You know, it was, news would show one thing and the people were another thing.
Mhm.
That's normal, right? But it was nice to actually be able to have feet on the ground and see this, and not be, and be there for a purpose of, you know, like, I come from this area. We have beautiful people here. They're amazing. And we can help a lot with in other places. And I've always, whenever I passed anybody from this area in another place, or somebody else said, oh, I know a guy from Ventura, or I know a guy from your county, he's just like you. You know, it was always a blessing, because somebody else was out there, other than me, you
Mhm.
know. And musically, somebody else, I might have paved the way for a lot of guys, but those guys got through after me, got to the same promoters, got to the same festivals, did a really good job. And then when I went back there, they said, hey, your guy from your town, he was great. He was here 6 months ago. And,
Oh,
you know, so
wow.
it's nice that, yeah, that we actually have the opportunity, if we choose so. We can choose to do this or not choose to do this, because you can choose to go and do one thing and say one thing and then do another. But until you've actually getting your hands dirty, and, you know, then you can show that people, you know, people of the world are just like us. Yeah.
Something I wanted to just sort of maybe put a little bit of finer point on, because you just kind of jammed right through it. And not everybody really understands that producing itself is an art form. You know, I come from an entertainment family, and it's just, there's the raw talent, but how it's put together makes a difference between raw talent just sitting there. It's kind of like, also like venue, you know, you can do your work in your studio, no one can ever see it, or you take it out, people see
Right.
it. It's just, it's not saying it's any better, but there's a difference, you know. So you choosing to produce at this time, to me, is a huge statement. And it's also your art form. So I just kind of have to mention that, because sometimes people, they don't even know what it means to produce somebody, but it's putting the act together and taking the raw,
Right.
you know, taking the raw art and making it fantastic beyond usually what the artist can even do. You know, I know, because I've been produced as well, just through my collaborations as a fine artist. It's a little different, but I get it. You know, I get it. I now know why you reached out to us, because your message is much beyond tooting your own horn as an artist. You truly are speaking of the power of art. You know, anyone, you're younger than I, but people watching you might think like, oh yeah, well, that's cool for him to say. But for the younger person, or maybe whatever person that just hasn't really felt that confidence, do you have anything you'd like to say, and maybe specifically talking to that confidence that takes the artist from performing in front of the mirror to performing in front of people?
Yeah, I think it takes a lot of hours. I mean, they say 10,000
Oh,
hours, right? It takes 10,000 hours to master your craft. And I think that's it. You know, my mom said that I taught myself how to tie my own shoelaces also. And I would stay in my room. I would stay in my room until I perfected it.
okay.
And I think that's what I did. I mean, I know that's what I did with music, because I would hear things, and then I would rap, and I would hear myself like the rapper I would hear rap on the song.
Okay.
And but I would really listen a lot.
Okay.
Instead of just going in and rapping it, I would listen and really listen to how technical the person was, how they would rhyme words, how they would flow through the beat. And I would listen over and over and over again to the same song. It would probably drive somebody crazy. And I would always catch something. It's like watching a movie you've seen your whole life. I would always catch something. And those are the details. That's what makes you a step above the next guy, is just the details, the small details. And my details are my schedule. So every morning I get up at 6 o'clock. I play some Bach, I play some Mozart for 15-20 minutes, get my head clear. And then I listen to some Hungarian rock from 1970. And I draw some inspiration from that, and I make a hip hop beat. And then I send it to whatever artist I'm working with at the time. You know, this is what I have. And so I do that, and I keep doing that every day. And there's a lot of days when I definitely do not want to be up at that time. Maybe I've been out the night before, maybe I don't know, but I trust in that system, in the schedule that I have, and in myself, that's what's going to keep driving my force. And if I do stop one day, even one day, and not do it, it's like the day you don't jog and then you go and jog the next day. It doesn't feel good. It's harder to.
Oh
And
my
so
goodness.
I've never really stopped. I've always, every day, just kept. You know, I'm 44 now. I started rapping when I was 14 years old, 13 years old, selling tickets to my own shows, and my friends, Madlib, and all my friends from Oxnard, and all the kids we were making hip hop music with, and doing everything on our own. We didn't have anybody that would take us to the radio stations. We drove ourselves to KCSB when we were in 1991 with our tapes, and went from there.
Okay. So unfortunately, we're out of time. I am so happy that we did this interview. That's just me. And let's see here. Discipline, hard work, drive, general enthusiasm, and a desire to serve the universe with your art.
That's it.
So there you go. That's Spinz. I'm going to thank you. And I'm going to thank you, our public, for joining us on OurVentura TV. I'm MB Hanrahan, and we'll see you next time.